We should be live. There it is. Oh, it's not quite loaded yet. Let's see. Loaded yet. There it is. Rightio. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 16 of the Spec Esports Pacific Tier 2 Championship. We have moved away from the hot, humid and very long Grand Prix that was Singapore, and we're moving to the Russian Grand Prix, undeniably one of the worst circuits in Formula 1 today. It really is. It is shocking. It is horrible. The fact that they call this a Grand Prix circuit is an insult to Grand Prix circuits, in my opinion. It is definitely up there with Abu Dhabi in terms of how bad it is, how god-awful it is in real life. However, and it's a fairly big however, these terrible circuits are actually quite good in video games. Don't know why. It's the same with Abu Dhabi, it's the same with Paul Ricard, and for some reason, it's the same here. This Sochi Autodrome circuit, it's not much of a racetrack. It is simplistic, to put it nicely. To put it very nicely, it is incredibly simplistic. 5.8 kilometers, 18 turns make up this circuit. The most iconic, I guess, of which is turn 3, which goes on forever. Forever and ever and ever. A bit like a Lord of the Rings movie, really. It just keeps going and going and going and going some more. And that's about it. That's about the only highlight on the circuit. You can see it there, that big booming left-hander. That's it. Everything else is pretty primitive, and it's just there for the sake of being there. It's not much, really. Key corners, though. I mean, yeah, the turn 3, an obvious one. But you've got turn 2, heavy braking zone after a DRS zone. So it's nice for overtaking, as well as turn 13, same thing. Turn 4, the right-hander that comes after turn 3, is also a nice place of overtaking. A famous occurrence between Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Raikkonen happened there, which gave Sergio Perez a podium for Force India at the time. Yeah, not Racing Point, it's Force India. Dry race? Thank you very much. So, who will win? Well, that's a very good question, Mr. Ryan Sparrow. Who will win this race? Well, we've got 5 different, not 5, 9, yes, 9, 1 less than 10, 9 race winners in this championship so far. It is ridiculous. Since Singapore, we've had 9 different Grand Prix winners. And the championship itself is insanely close. The top 4 are separated by 35 points. Leading the way is Misty Griffin in the Renault on 163. Then equal second for Kickbutt Kiwi and her on 137. Then Aussie Suspect in the Toro Rosso in 4th place on 128 points. With 6 rounds to go, and seeing how many different race winners we've had over the course of this championship, this is going to be a close title fight. But before we delve more into that, I'm going to let Mr. Dan the Racer here in the Williams take us on a hot lap of this dreadful circuit. Now, it's pretty much a nothing corner. It's completely flat out right-hander. It's nothing. Heavy braking zone into turn 2, 100 meter board on the brakes. 4th gear, a bit gentle from Dan. I have to say, you can go a bit harder through there. Into turn 3, and as I said, it keeps going and going to the point where you almost want to fall asleep. Into turn 4 we go. Another boring 90-degree right-hander. It's nothing. Short blast. Into turn 5. You have to be careful here. You don't want to be tempted to cut that corner too much. It's a bit like Singapore. You want to really abuse the track limits, but if you go an inch over them, bang, warning. And it's so easy to collect them around here. Turn 7, into turns 8 and 9. Oh, and he's invalidated, so he'll back out of that. Who's the next car on the lap? It looks like a Renault. Not Misty Griffin. Candy Cane, no. It must be then AU Wingman? No, he's invalid. These guys are demonstrating this track to a T. Ah, come on. Certainly someone. Alright, we'll ride on board with Aussie, one of the championship contenders. I'm sure that together of this circuit. So no one has gotten past turn 9 as of yet. I'm sure a couple of drivers will. Oh, come on, Aussie, keep the car on the circuit, please. I want a lap of this place. Alright, let's see. Coming through turn 7. Bit tricky, I have to say. Very easy to run wide. Turns 8 and 9. It's a nice flowy bit through here. It's not too bad. Then into a nondescript right-hander, and that's an invalidation for crying out loud. El Tonki, thank you very much for setting a lap. Let's see. Mr. Griffin, championship leader. Surely this man will put a lap together. Coming into turn 10. It's a very critical corner, this one. If you stuff it up, you ruin the run through turns 11 and 12. So it's very important that you get through this right. Really maximise the top speed here. Insulator and golden. Why do I keep saying golden? Gold gloves go second and third now as Sevenite jumps to pole. Now we come into Singapore 2.0. This is just all 90-degree corners in this third sector. It is literally one of the most useless pieces of circuit ever. You cannot overtake anywhere through here. It is just follow the leader stuff. Mr. Griffin will come across the line and sets a 33.206 to put him in P2, just behind Singapore Grand Prix winner Mr. Sevenite, becoming our 9th different winner in this championship. It has been absolutely brilliant watching these guys in this championship. It's been so diverse, I think is the correct word to use. I mean, we've had all these different guys winning left, right and centre, so nicely balanced. I mean, you've got some really quick guys, but they tend to make little mistakes here and there, particularly Harass. The unfortunate fellow is one of the more unlucky drivers in this championship. He was lined up for a couple of race victories that unfortunately were taken away from him due to incidents on circuit. Then the racer goes to P7. Who's that who jumped up? I think that's actually Riale and Tall Cogwheel in the Alfa Romeos. They're looking pretty fast as well. Suskas jumps up to pole position then. A 1 minute 32.547. So fairly close between the top two, separated by 0.2 of a second. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Candy Cane. 5 grid place penalty. Severe contact. Tall Cogwheel. Win today. Okay, maybe an Alpha. Well, they're looking alright in qualifying at the moment. There's still a few drivers who haven't set lap times, but wow, Candy Cane, dearie me. I have to say, engine audio's a bit low. Give me a minute. Just turn that up, just a smidge. That's a bit better. I mean, I have to really maximise the engine audio because all these cars... Oh, Installator. Oh, you're in the pit lane. Why on earth? Oh, it must be a desync. Okay. Yeah, I have to really maximise the engine audio because all these cars are turbocharged vacuum cleaners. They make bugger all noise, and the noise that does make is absolutely horrid. Oh... That had to have been an invalidation. Yeah, it was. Let's see. Who hasn't set a lap yet? Big Donga in the Ferrari. He's looking like he's just on another out lap. He is on a flyer, but he must have made a mistake. You Wingman. He seems to be on a flying lap. But yes, it seems with this circuit, you really have to try and maximise the track limits. If you leave any on the table, you're losing time. It's the only way... To get pole around here, you really have to maximise everything that you've got available to you. You really have to abuse track limits up as much as possible and really maximise on the exits. And at the moment, Wingman is doing a fairly nice job here. Coming to the end of Sector 2, now into Sector 3. Oh my god. Underneath the overpass, it's just... Look at this. It's just so slow and so needless. There's no overtaking opportunities. You've got a leaking bladder of elevation change coming into turn 15. That provides something, you know, a sort of blind apex. Into the final corner. Now, this is going to be a quick time, and it is a quick time. A 1 minute 32.287. That's a very healthy time. 0.2 of a second clear of Suskas in P2. So it's looking good for Wingman, the substitute driver for the Mercedes-Benz team. Now, I think a lot of drivers seem to be on an in-lap. Ken Tenma is not in the Red Bull Honda. Currently P9. Now let's see, do I have it on fitted? I do. So he's on 2 lap-old softs. So they're going to have substantially less grip in comparison to when he set his first flying lap. But he obviously feels there might be a bit more time on the table, even with these old softs. Oh yes, and the strategy around this place is it's soft to medium. There's no other strategy. It is so straightforward here at Russia. Tyre wear is non-existent at this place. So yeah, easy soft to medium strategy. Interesting to see though that no one's trying to gamble on the mediums, but then again, the time on the medium is going to be that much slower. You will lose that much track position trying to start on the mediums, and you don't want to be buried in the mid-pack here. It's one interesting feature about this circuit is the incredibly long run into turn 2. See, turn 1's just a flat-out right-hander, so it's turn 2. It's a heavy braking zone, and there tends to be a mess, particularly in the middle order. So you want to try and get yourself out of that middle order. Probably 6th place up is okay, and sort of the bottom 4 will be alright as well, because you're away from that mess in the middle order. And Ken jumps up to P5 as well. A 33.073 puts him to P5 with 7.5 minutes to go. Now, as I said, the championship is ridiculously close. So this is our championship leader, and he appears to be on a flying lap as well. On 163 points is this man, Misty Griffin, but he's only won a single race, and that was all the way back in Canada. It was a long, long, long time ago. But he's been Mr. Consistency throughout this championship. He's scored in pretty much every single round since that Canadian win, and it's resulted in him leading the championship by a race win by 26 points. So even if he doesn't finish, if Kickbutt Kiwi in P2, who is 26 points behind, gets a race win, and even fastest lap, Misty Griffin will still be at the top of the table. So it's looking good for the Renault driver. It's got a margin, but you don't want to be the defending driver, even in the championship. You want to be the aggressive one. You want to keep fighting to try and get closer and closer to the guy in front. Misty jumps up to P5, 33 flat as well. So these guys are very, very close on times at the moment. Good to see. Artie's on an in-lap. I think Suskas might be on an in-lap as well. No. Maybe another out-lap. Must have invalidated, I believe. Yeah, cutting this corner. He'll be either coming in and waiting to the end, or he'll try and set another lap. Someone's coming through. Is that Lunacy? It is Lunacy. This is one of the 9 race winners in this championship so far. Won that epic race at Monza. It was truly, truly epic. If you haven't seen that, after this stream, watch it. Tier 2 Pacific Series at Monza. It was bonkers. As Lunacy sets a beautiful time, a 1 minute 32.8 exactly. I love it when it comes up like that. It's really nice. It's really clean. It's not a complete mess of numbers. It's very nice. Let's see. 2 very quick drivers haven't yet set a lap time, Big Donga and Harass. But it looks like Harass is indeed on a flying lap. He comes through the final corner and goes to pole position. A 1 minute 32.009. Puts him 2 tenths clear of his teammate, his fill-in teammate for this weekend. This is Tuesday. It's not a weekend. Oh, I get caught up doing so many other leagues. We're getting caught up on weekends. Dear me. He's in P2 on a Tuesday night with his teammate in P1. It's a Mercedes-Benz 1-2. How many times have you heard that? It is a Mercedes 1-2, and at Russia as well, where they have won every single Russian Grand Prix. Literally all of them. They have not been beaten in Russia. It's stupid. They could have been beaten last year if Sebastian Vettel's engine didn't just decide to give up. But anyway. Let's see. Who is on a flying lap? Reale is on a flyer. So is Tor Cogwheel. Someone suggested that this guy might get pole position in the comment section. Why don't we give him a little bit of a ride on board, shall we? Just keep an eye on the Alfa Romeo driver. Now, very low on fuel, I have to say. Low on ERS as well. But he's still got a bit in reserve, that's for certain. Now, I wonder if he'll actually be coming into the pit lane. Maybe. We'll just have to pay attention to the car. And pay attention to his second sector split. Now, I think he's on an in-lap. He's well off the pace, I think, coming into... Yeah, 1.8 seconds, so he's on an in-lap. Reale, on the other hand, seems to be relatively close to his personal best at the moment, which is a 33.594. Coming to the end of the second sector, he's up by 0.4 of a second. That's a massive improvement. This is looking like a top 10 time. Into this sort of bus stop section in the third sector. Through turn 15 into 16. I'm surprised that didn't invalidate him there. That was very, very close. Now through the final two corners, nondescript 90-degree corners. Through turn 18, 31, 32. It's a 32.8. A little bit better than I thought that he was going to get. And he puts himself into P8. It is stupid close between these drivers at the moment. I kid you not, 1/10 of a second separates 8th to 4th. Adi Chenguez all the way down to Reale, separated by 1/10. 0.100. Oh, I love how close it is. I absolutely love how close it is at the moment. Right. You mean Wingman might be a man to watch. Oh, is he? Right, so he'll back out of this lap, surely. No, he's going to push on. I thought you'd back out of that after stuffing up turn 2, rather. Just set up for your next lap. Try and not make that mistake into turn 2. But he's pushing on, and he's basically matched his first sector. Let's see, through turns 7 into turns 8 and 9. Flows it quite nicely through here. He's got a bit of traffic. Oh, that's something I forgot to turn back on, is the driver tags. Now, is that an invalidation? Doesn't appear to be. Candy Cane, a 5-grade place penalty with Installator, who is retired from the session. Give me a moment. Ah, the cars will surely despawn. But look at that. Look at the mini-map. You can see the pink dot. You can see the yellow dot. Don't worry about Dan. Oh, my goodness. Now, we only saw a glimpse of that. Oh, and that's Candy Cane. Surely that's Candy Cane. So he's still in this... Ooh. Okay. Oh, James. Dearie me. Oh, that's a big moment at turn 3. Oh, and Wingman has spun as well. Where on earth is that? That is turn 16. So his session is done. He will not be qualifying higher than second place in this race. Dearie me. Are you Wingman disqualified? Oh. He won't even be starting second, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be starting from dead last. Oh, and the revving glitch. Oh. I want to ride on board with you just in case if you get pole. But I don't want to... Oh, it's not fixed. It's not fixed at all. Oh, God. Gonna have to stay outboard, I guess. Oh, very wide through turn 7. Into turns 8 and 9. That's a very nice job. It's a pity that engine is revving like crazy. Oh, come on. I thought you would have fixed yourself down into turns 12 and 13. He's down. It doesn't look like this is going to be a pole lap. And Artie's not improved either. But the championship leader has He's improved by 0.4 of a second coming into the third sector rather. Misty Griffin currently in 8th place by improving by 0.4. This is looking like P3. Golden Gloves jumps up to 2nd place. That's a very nice time from the racing point. Aussie Suspect jumps up to 1st place. That was the Toro Rosso driver. Okay. And Misty jumps up to 5th. But what a time from Aussie Suspect in the Toro Rosso. A 1 minute 31.930 puts him at pole position here. Harass did not go out to set another flying lap. That is interesting. Very, very interesting. So three of the four championship contenders are in the top 5. Griffin in P3, P5 rather. Harass in P2 and Aussie Suspect with pole position. Oh, that game better not give him a penalty for that. It tends to do that sometimes. Severe collisions penalty even though the AI is in control. But seriously, this is how stupid the AI is. It's amazing. Oh god. It's to god amazing how stupid the AI is. But there we go, Aussie Suspect, the man in 4th place in the championship, will start on pole position here in Russia. The man who was 2nd in the championship will start in P2. It's only just 0.08 of a second separating the two. Then 0.3 back is Gold Gloves in P3, Suscus P4, Misty Griffin, championship leader, starts P5, Artie Chengas P6, 7-8, Singapore Grand Prix winner P7, Lunacy P8, Installator, his home Grand Prix P9, Actually Viale P10 for the Alfa Romeo, so it was a top 10 time. Honest Crook P11, Kentenma P12, Big Donga P13, Tor Cogwheel P14, Reedy P15, Dan the Racer P16, Candy Cane P17, James Cruz, El Tonki, and AU Wingman, after getting disqualified from the session, will start 20th on the grid. Wow. That's horrible. That is genuinely horrible. Parked in a dangerous location. I mean, man, the guy's off the racing line. He couldn't move, otherwise he would have caused an accident. And the game's like, nah. Dangerous, mate. Like, you can T-bone someone into Narnia and you'll get away with a warning. Just stop on the track, off the racing line. Near a marshal's post as well, probably. Nah, disqualified, parked in a dangerous location. Bugger off. Oh, I love this game. How broken it is. But here we go on the formation lap here in Russia. 27 laps here. I pray that this is going to be an awesome race. I think it should be as well. Now let's see. What tyres are the drivers going to go on? A lot of soft compound drivers. The top 10 obviously starting on the softs. Honest Crook in 11th place starting on the mediums, with Ken Tenma on the mediums as well. Dan the Racer on the mediums. El Tonki and AU Wingman on the mediums. Candy Cane starts in 20th place. Okay. El Tonki going to make a huge comeback, top 5. Think so? 18th on the grid. It's a fair way to go. He could potentially line himself up for a race win, maybe even Suscus as well. Looking good in 4th place. But we'll have to wait and see. 27 laps here at Sochi Autodrome. 27 laps for the Russian Grand Prix. Installator. Alright, so Installator's desynced. That's great. And it's lights out, and away we go here in Russia. And Aussie Suspect has gotten a fairly nice start, but Harass has gotten a mega one down the inside. It through turn 1. Here we go into turn 2. Look at the mess. Look at the spread of cars coming into turn 2. Oh, this is just awful watching this. Oh, please get through, okay? Please. Or someone hasn't, I think. No, it seems... Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh my goodness me, that is an almighty crash through turn 3. I thought it was going to happen in turn 2, no, turn 3. And we have a virtual safety car to go along with it. And Aussie Suspect has dropped from pole position to 8th place. Dear me, that is a shocking start for the championship contender. But an even worse one for Adi Cengiz. Completely sideways, completely and utterly perpendicular coming into turn 3. Collected an Alfa Romeo, I believe that was actually Reale, and there we go, completely destroyed front wing. Oh, it's a lack of the draw here at Russia at the moment. Now look at the position change, look at that. Big losers and big winners as well, keeping their noses clean. Did Wingman. Candy Cane as well, El Tonki up 6 positions, that's a nice start. Even better from Big Donga. From 17th to 10th, he's now in a point scoring position. The drivers have to be careful of the delta. Always be careful. Reedy up 5 positions. Honest Crook up 6. Lunacy up 5. And we're back on the green flag racing to complete lap 1 of 27 here at Russia. Harass lead with Suskas in P2. Lunacy finds himself in P3. From 8th on the grid, he finds himself in P3. Now, Installator for me has desynced. So... unfortunately, he'll be jumping all over the leaderboard again. But that is just absolutely incredible. I thought the accident was going to happen in turn 2, but nope, it happened turn 3. This never-ending corner. Oh, and side by side, look at this. What a move. What a great piece of action between those two. Reedy and Big Dong are just fighting it out. So... how will this race pan out? Will these drivers bunch up into little packs? Into these little groups, and will they battle each other? It seems like that at the moment. You sort of got the top 2nd and 3rd, and Griffin's going to attach himself onto the back of this soon. We've got some more battling here. And I believe that's Adi Cengiz in turn 2. He's had a moment. Coming into turn 13, this is an overtaking opportunity for sure. It's a heavy braking zone. Gone through relatively okay, most of the drivers. And we have another virtual. Candy Cane is out of the session. He's crashed at turn 11 on the circuit. I don't know how you crashed there, but apparently he has. Must have ran too close to the wall, I'm guessing. Oh, and Servanite into the wall under virtual safety car. And into the pits he goes. He just lost it. Coming out of turn 16. Oh, that's going to be really annoying, isn't it? Installate's just going to jump to the top of the table because he's desynced for me. That's great. So I don't actually get... I'm not actually sure where he's going to finish this race. Apparently he's in 16th. I don't know about that. I am not sure about that at all. But you gotta love this from Codemasters and its completely buggy nature. DRS has been has officially been enabled, actually. This is only lap 3, and we're back on the green flag racing. Now, Harass has actually gotten a horrible restart. He had a 2-second gap at the beginning of that virtual safety car. It's now come down to 1.2 seconds. Oh, but Lunacy, back end everywhere, coming through turn 9 into turn 10. Looking good. Oh, and a twitchy moment for Suskas. But he's got DRS. He's going to look to the inside for sure. Into turn 13. No, into turn 12. He's doing it a corner early. Lunacy's going to try and hang it around the outside, but he can't hold on to the position. Suskas moves himself into P2. But these two are going to start battling, I feel, and Harass is just going to pull away. Harass needs that for sure. for the two or three drivers behind to really battle each other. Misty Griffin just saying a little hello to Lunacy, just making sure Lunacy knows he's right there. Make one mistake, mate, and I'm taking your position. Lap 4 of 27 has now begun, and look at this train, this almighty train of cars. Oh, Installator, your desync is really, really annoying. Ah, damn you, Codemasters. How dare you be like this? So, Harass currently leading the way. 1.5 seconds separate him to Suscuss now, leading into turn 4. The Lunacy, he's right up behind, and already the penalties have begun. Gold gloves, 3 seconds, multiple warnings. That's going to be the first of many, many, many penalties in this race. So easy to do. Actually, Reale, fastest lap on the hard tyre. Adi Chenges just demolishes that. So it's just showing how much wear these soft tyres have gone through already. Even though they last, they seem to wear quite a bit around this place. They just don't quite have the speed in comparison to when they're fresh to when they're used. Oh, so see that there? I'm just going to ride on board with Lunacy a bit. Now we've got to watch out. Look at that back end. It is absolutely everywhere. He is not comfortable with this car. But to be honest, I don't think many of these drivers seem to be comfortable. Now I'm going to ride on board with Misty. Let's have a look at this. Front end looks stable. Too stable in my opinion. That car looks like it's understeering quite a bit. Honest Crook's got a nice run. Big Donga now sets a new fastest lap. Oh yeah, that's right. We've spent that many laps on the safety car. We haven't had a proper flying lap. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, and Suscuss has made a mistake. Here we go. Lunacy to the outside of turn 3. No, he can't hold the position. Will he look to the inside? No, he won't. He'll stay in behind. He won't do a Raikkonen. He knows better than that. It's only lap 5. Although there's no malicious intent, there's no contact, it's a letting Harass pull away. 2.4 seconds separate him to second place. It is looking good for the Mercedes driver. But one safety car will change all of that. All of that hard work gone. But at the moment he is doing the job that he needs to do for this championship. And here we go, Misty Griffin to the inside, into turn 12. Typically you would go to the outside of turn 12. That way, oh, an end plate. That's Gold Gloves. One of the front runners. Oh, and back down the inside is Donga. Oh, no. And Golden Gloves, he's not given up. Donga 3 seconds as well. Dear me. So Gold Gloves, he would not be happy with that wing damage. He would lose precious seconds with that damage. Man, that is really going to be annoying with Installator. Dear me. Desync between them. Just God, I love you, Codemasters. You know how to make a video game. Really. And here we go, more battling. They're not giving up, these two. Donga and Gold Gloves. Gloves, is he going to look down the inside? No, he won't. To be honest, he needs to be careful how he fights this, because the more he fights with Big Donga, the more time he loses. In contact! Right into the back of him. No damage, it seems, or at least no more damage than what it already seems. And Reedy, looking pretty nice, I have to say, in P9. Top 10 position at the moment. He's looking good, and he's right on the tail of this. And these guys are battling. This is a battle for second place. Lunacy, Griffin, and Suscuss. Haas, Renault, and Williams battling through the third sector, but there's no overtaking opportunities here. Look at this. Just line astern stuff. Follow the leader. That's all you have to do. Oh, and that, I think he hit the wall then. Oh, and the back end everywhere. Deary me. Lunacy having to find all the time he lost now. Luckily he'll get DRS coming onto the pit straight. Aussie Suspect might be lining up and move as well, as we've got some more battling for the non-point scoring positions. But you can see that on the mini-map. That's P1 going into turn 2 as Suspect. A very clean move, I have to say, on Honest Crook. Very nicely done. And that's the top 10. They're all going through the one corner now. Harass at the end of turn 3. And Reedy, it's all Cogwheel at the start of turn 3. All of the top 10 within one corner, and we're 7 laps into this thing. And now Reedy is all over the back of Gold Gloves. That wing damage is hurting him big time. Look at that understeer. Massive understeer for the Racing Point. Oh, still more understeer. But you can see that Reedy spending a lot of resources to try and overtake him. Oh, and also big understeer there as well. Apparently there's sector 2 yellow flags, but I didn't see anything on the minimap. Nothing that should suggest yellow flags. Might be wrong there. Let's see. Through turn 16, these 3 go, and this battle just allowing Harass to pull away. The gap is almost 3 seconds. He's looking good. I have to say though, he's spending a fair amount of ERS to try and pull away, so you have to be careful. Can't just keep spending. You've got to save a bit as well. Oh, that desync is really annoying. And Missy Griffin down the inside. This is for P2. Oh, in a moment! That's a huge moment for the championship leader. And here comes Lunacy. Through turn 3 they go. Will he look into... Oh, and Suscuff loses it at the exit. Was there contact? Was there contact between Griffin and Suscuff? Or did Suscuff just lose it all by himself? Couldn't quite tell from that angle. Ooh, jumpy. And there goes Installator back to 17th. I'm sure he's not actually there. That's just desync doing its thing. I'm not quite sure where he actually is on circuit. I'm sure he's not 18th. Installator is quite the quick driver. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's actually in this top 10 race. Oh, you can see that. And Lunacy goes deep, very deep. And that brings Suspect and Honest Crook into this battle as well. This battle for P2. Oh, and Griffin might have made a mistake at turn 15 as well. Just went wide. A little bit wide. But just wide enough to bring Lunacy back into DRS range. And Suscuss is in. Into the pits the Haas goes. Lap 9. Gold Gloves. Another 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. The driver in P7, it's not looking good for him at the moment. Now, I better change it to tyres. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the right one. So what is Suscuss going to go onto? The medium tyre, obviously. You don't really want to use the hards unless you get involved into in a early accident like Acireale and Ardi. Then that makes perfect sense. But yeah, that's not Installator. That's that is desync at its finest. Gotta love desync in this game, it's great. He's not actually there on circuit, he's somewhere else on circuit. Don't quite know where he is, but he's somewhere. Harass currently leading the way by 3 seconds. Lunacy has fallen out of the 1 second range of Misty Griffin. This isn't good news for Lunacy because it brings these guys ever so much closer. I have to say though, these guys have spread themselves out a little bit ever since Suscuss went into the pits. Sector 1 and 2 yellow flags. I tell you, Wingman. Oh dear. Big big damage. It was looking like a good race as Lunacy comes in. It was looking like a good race for the Mercs. But that disqualification really, really hurt him. So Lunacy is bound to go on to the medium tyre. Oh, I forget how slow it is down here. Only 60 kilometers an hour. Onto the medium tyre, and away he goes. Now Donga and Honest Crook fighting for P4. Around the outside, Honest Crook. No grip, just marbles out there. Into turn 4. And what will he try and do? He'll try and hang on to the back of Donga as best he can. Donga won't have any DRS coming into turn 11 and 12. Really needs to just try and stay there with Donga. It seems Donga's got good speed as well. Gold Gloves, again 3 seconds. So it seems Gold Gloves is really abusing the track limits to try and keep up with these guys. Not too surprising, seeing as he does have wing damage, so I'm actually quite surprised he hasn't come in yet. He's still out on circuit, trying to fight on with that damage. Oh, God, I love that desync, honestly. Absolutely great stuff. Through the S's in the third sector. Well, S is more just cascade of 90s, more or less. And Honest Crook is in a good position here. The highest placed driver on the medium compound tyre. Very much in this fight, and there we go. And a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, dear me. Tall cogwheel into the pits. The second Alpha to stop after actually Reale had an incident on lap 1 as Honest Crook back down the inside. A very nice move, but can he hold it? Around the outside goes Big Donga. And he gets the position. Harass has made a mistake! I don't believe it! The race leader! A comfortable race lead has made a mistake at turn 3. Dearie me! Oh, I don't believe it. Yellow flags, why didn't you come out earlier? Inform me that the Mercedes has spun round. Dearie me. He has thrown away a race lead. A comfortable race lead. Dearie me. You got a championship to fight. You cannot make costly mistakes like that. And he's got wing damage. He's got wing damage. He'll be coming in this lap for sure. And he'll switch onto the mediums. Oh, harass. That incident at turn 3 is basically your season in a nutshell, it seems. Whenever there's an opportunity, something just happens to him. And it looks like he's done it by himself. He'll come into the pits, get that front wing changed, and so does Misty Griffin, the championship leader. Comes in from P3. Onto the medium tyre, and away he goes. Suspect, I didn't see Suspect come in, but there we go, the Toro Rosso driver is in as well. And away they go out of the pit lane, a very slow pit lane. And here comes Servanite, the charge of the Ferrari, and Lunacy as well. They both overtake Griffin coming into turn 1. That's how much of an undercut there is around here. But look at that. Servanite on 9-lap-old mediums. Lunacy on 2-lap-old mediums. Misty's on fresh ones. But Lunacy's not too bad. Those 2-lap-old mediums aren't too bad. As Suscus, he's lost a fair amount of time. Now, he was battling with the likes of Lunacy, Griffin and Suspect earlier in the race. Something has happened to him. Maybe he hasn't felt that comfortable on the medium tyre. Just hasn't found the race pace. Typically for me around this place, I really do favour the mediums over the softs. The softs just wear too quickly for me. I find the mediums a far better race tyre. But Honest Crook is looking really good, I have to say. In comes Big Donga, race leader, into the pits. So Honest Crook will take the effective race lead. He's on the medium tyre. He can go on to about lap 17, maybe lap 18. Switch on to the soft compound tyre and quite easily make it to the end of this race. Now the gap between him, let's see, to the effective race leader, who is actually Lunacy. What is the gap? 17.5 seconds. However, the pit lane around here is quite long. It is so unbelievably slow around here as the desync is doing its thing with the leaderboard again. Because of course it does. But this is the effective race leader, Lunacy. With Servanite in P2, Misty Griffin P3, Aussie Suspect P4, Big Donga P5, Suscus P6. Harass is in P7 effectively. That is a massive drop from effectively leading this race. Oh, and he's got Servanite all over the back of him. This is for the race lead. Around turn 9, and Servanite has gone wide. Griffin, he will capitalise around the outside. Can he hold it there? He tries, and maybe a little bit of contact between the reserve driver and the championship leader. Through turn 11. Into turn 12. Lunacy goes for a move on El Tonki. Oh, Servanite, he's going to get boxed in. Oh, and great move there from Misty. Taking full advantage of the Red Bull on the old medium tyre. And Servanite gets 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Very nice. Serva, he's going to try and go for a move here. Oh, big wide moment there. And 3 seconds to couple that move. Across the line. So, and Harass sets a new fastest lap. It's not that surprising. I'd imagine he's in angry mode after making that mistake. I'm pretty sure he just made it by himself. I didn't see any traffic. I might be wrong though. Unfortunately, I didn't catch on to it until the incident actually went through. Now Tonki and Aussie Suspect going, oh, and that's deep. Hell, Tonki, that was deep. Very deep. He falls to 9th place. Aussie Suspect moves himself up into 8th and collects a 3-second time penalty. So does Installator apparently, wherever he is. I do not know where he is, but he's definitely not leading, and he's definitely not in last place. I think that's where the desync happens. I don't quite know where he is, but I definitely know he's not in those two places. I'm sure he'll fix itself towards the end. And there we go. Misty Griffin now moves into the effective race lead. Overtakes Lunacy. This could be key towards the championship. This race. We've only got 6 rounds to go. 35 points. Remember, 35 points separate these. Separate the top 4. Oh, and cool, that could have been awful. That could have been really messy. Oh, and so could that. Jeez, fellas, just race a little bit nicer, alright? Jeez. This is what happens when you come up to the bad tracks. The racing just gets really aggressive. And Missy Griffin makes a move on Dan the Racer down the inside of turn 2. Now, I'm sure Dan's just going to helpfully get out of the way. No, he's going to fight Misty for this. Down the inside. Oh, big understeer. Oh, and into the wall. Goes Dan the Racer. Damage? Let's see. Come on, camera. Come on, Cody's. Work with me here. Yep. There's a missing end plate. Dearie me. So, this is the battle for the effective race lead. However, I want to see where Honest Crook comes out in all of this. Now, he could be a gambling man and stop now. Because I think the soft will last about 12 laps. He could do it. Or he could go on further, and that way he has nicer tyres towards the end of the race. I think in his position, the earlier he gets onto the softs, probably the better. Because the longer he stays out, the more time he loses to the likes of these two. but it's up to him. Because the undercut around this place is powerful. Stupidly powerful. And what kind of role does Ken play in this battle? We'll have to wait and see. Dan the Racer goes in. He makes his pit stop. Lunacy, 3 seconds. Gotta remember that as well. Okay. Virtual? What for? Oh, gold gloves. He's had a moment. And that's a completely destroyed front wing as well. Deary me. He'll be going on to the softs. He'll make it easily. Or at least I hope he'll go on to the softs. Servanite, 3 second time penalty, multiple warnings. Lucky it wasn't anything more than that. Game doesn't like it when you make warnings on virtual or normal safety cars. Oh, and he'll serve the 5 seconds for speeding as well, so that will get removed from his overall race time. Let's see. So, while this virtual's going on, I'll just quickly check something. Griffin. No penalties, but getting close. 2 penalties for Lunacy. Oh dear. It seems that the race for the win has already been dictated between these two. Lunacy has not been clean around this circuit. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties in comparison to Mr. Griffin, who's only got 2 warnings. No penalties so far. Now, that's not true, I think. Yeah, it's just a desync, I'm sure. And he's going out for another lap. I think Honest might be shooting himself in the foot here. And something's happened to Ken. How did you fall all the way down to 11th? You've got wing damage as well. What did I miss? Must have missed something. I'm sure someone can point it out. But he was up there in the top 5, and now suddenly he's in 11th place. With wing damage as well. That's very, very unfortunate. Let's see. Honest Croc. He's coming into turn 5 right now. The cars behind are effectively entering turn 4. So this is very, very close. Honest Crook, how much time will he lose in the pit lane? I think it is quite a bit. But Honest, every lap he spends, the worse this is going to be for him. Because it leaves you with more work to do. You have to try and get past more cars. And that in turn will increase the tyre wear. So sometimes pitting earlier might be a better way to save tyre wear. Just a little bit. Because you're not battling with as many people. Because you're not losing as much time to the cars behind by coming in, switching onto a set of softs, because you spent less time on old tyres. But here we go. Honest Crook will come into the pits. This is a telling moment, and look how slow it is. That is seriously slow. And here comes the chasing pack. Now they've got him easily, really easily. I didn't think it would be that big, but it is. It is massive here at Russia. Look at that undercut. Absolutely huge. Servanite will get him. Big Donga will get him. Harass will get him. Suscus will get him. Same with Reedy. He will fall all the way to 10th place. That's how big it is around this place. Now, if he came in a little bit earlier, I don't think it'll be quite as bad as 10th. Oh, well, 9th, 10th, 9th, battling, 9th. Now he's got all this work to do. And the best he probably gets is 8th at this rate. He needs a safety car, maybe? Like right now, a safety car? Well, actually, no. I don't think that will even work. I know. I feel as if Honest Crook, maybe 2 or 3 laps too late. That pit stop. But we'll have to wait and see. This Grand Prix racing, anything can happen. Now, is that a desync? It has to be. Because they're driving as if he isn't there. So it must be a desync for me. He must be in some other place in the order. Righto. Yeah, they're going to get past him easily. Yeah, so that's nothing. Don't worry about that. That's a desync. He hasn't actually been turned around. Right, so Installator's desync won't annoy me as much with him jumping up the leaderboard, as he's been lapped by effectively the top 10. Oh, of course not. Anyway. Desync speed desyncs. Now, what about Aussie Suspect? Oh god. Oh my god. That's 12 seconds. Sevenite has got 6 seconds. Harass has got 2 warnings. Oh, Harass. Oh, Harass. And Honest Crook has got 2 warnings as well. So Honest has driven a superb race so far. I just think he might have blown it with the strat. We'll have to wait and see. He's now moved himself up into 7th. I'm sure Suscus didn't put up too much of a fight, as Ken sets a new fastest lap, a 1 minute 35.215 for the Red Bull. I think at this stage he's guaranteed. Give me a minute. So yeah, the gap from him to Harass is 6.9 seconds, and Harass at the moment has got no penalties. At this rate, Lunacy will hang on to 2nd. But if that gap between Harass and Lunacy falls to 6 seconds, which is about to now, Harass is going to jump up to 2nd place. I would love the double meaning for 2nd. It's great. 2nd in terms of time and 2nd in terms of position. It's great. El Tonki 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. So at this rate, I'm going to do some quick math. Misty Griffin with 25 points, I'll increase it to 108 points. Kickbutt Kiwi will score nothing, so stays on 137. Harass at this stage is looking like a P3 at this stage. That's 15 points, if I remember that correctly. What's that? That's 145, that's 155. No, 152 rather. And Aussie Suspect, well, with the amount of penalties he's got, he's not going to score a great deal, it seems. But at least the gap between Harass and Misty Griffin I can kind of get right. So Misty Griffin's going to jump to 188. At this stage, Harass is going to jump up to 2nd in the standings on 152. And depending what the penalties are like for the rest of the field, Aussie Suspect might jump to 3rd place. And Kickbutt Kiwi, not being here, might drop to 4th on 137. We'll have to wait and see. But at this stage, at this rate, with this race going like it is looking like Misty Griffin and Harass are going to turn what was a 4-way fight into a 2-way fight for the championship going into the next round. Potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Now, is that the actual position of where Installator is supposed to be? I don't think so. It can't be, surely. Oh, I love you, Codemasters, really. No, that's an AI in control of that car. So yeah, there's still a desync. Big dong up. And Honest Crook now battling. As Aussie Suspect has made a move on Lunacy. And Lunacy all over the back of Aussie, pushing him along. And Honest has made a move on Big Donga with that DRS help. He moves himself into P6. He's going to try and hunt down the other Ferrari in the form of Servanite. Now, Honest Crook also has no penalties, so he might be eyeing up a top 3 here. What it could have been. We'll have to wait and see. So Suspect is now going to try and hunt down Mr. Griffin. Surely Griffin will know the sheer number of penalties that the Toro Rosso driver has, which probably let him go by. No need to fight him too much. Set the 3 yellow flags. Appears to be nothing. Wingman, another 3-second time penalty. Although this seems like an interesting fight for the lead, ultimately penalties will dictate this. Oh, Ken's out. A ride maybe with James Cruz. He's crashed. Where on earth is that? That's the exit of turn 17 he's crashed. Hopefully it won't despawn. Gold gloves, 3 seconds. Oh, wow! How on earth? That is one of the oddest looking things I have ever seen. Very odd place for a car to end up, that's for sure. And Lunacy has to be careful. That 6-second gap to harass, he really needs to manage that and try not get another penalty. Penalties will dictate a lot of this race. At this rate, Lunacy is going to hang on to second, and Suspect's going to try and move himself into the lead. Griffin's going to fight though. Is that rain? No, it's not. Just me eyes playing trick on me. Playing a trick. Damn. Through turn 4. I have to say though, it looks overcast. Through turn 5 into turn 6 and 7. The gap now between these two is 6.3 seconds. If he gets it under 6, there's a good shot. He'll move himself up into second place, which would be a great recovery after what happened in this race so far. Honest Crook still trying to hunt down Servanite. At this stage he's eyeing up maybe a 4th, I think. Looking good for him. Oh, these guys are battling. It's almost as if they don't know what penalties they have. Oh, just don't cause any drama, fellas. Oh, God. Drama, here we go. So, Aussie Suspect now takes the lead. Although, again, penalties will ultimately decide his fate. Through the final corner to begin lap 24 of 27. 4 laps to go here at Russia. Mr. Griffin, he's now got Lunacy all over the back of him. Will Lunacy go for it? No, he's turned it into none. I think he knows the situation he's in. And now he's back behind 6 seconds to harass. Let's see here. We can change it to interval now. Now it's 5.2 seconds. We've got to keep an eye on the interval between harass and Lunacy. That's going to be very telling on where harass finishes in this race. Ultimately, a safety car makes it all null and void, but there we go. Oh, a massive moment for Lunacy in P3. Then the racer jumps up to P12. Now falls back to P13. Seems we have a battle here. Here we go. Some side-by-side action. Or turns in and into it and spun him round. And reset to circuit. I'm sorry, but no. Beyond unacceptable. And Achiriale has retired in the pit lane. I'm sorry, but you have no idea how dangerous that is. Luckily there's no traffic. There is a written rule within almost every league. As Honest Crook gets a 3-second time penalty, all he needed to do was try and stay on circuit. Looking like a top 4. Maybe not now. Maybe a 5th place. Maybe. Keep an eye on it. There is pretty much a written rule in almost every single league I'm in. Do not, under any circumstances, reset to track. Because the game is stupid. It will park your car on the racing line for who knows what reason. Why they thought that was a reasonable thing to do, because it isn't. Because basically you've got this wall of carbon fibre sitting on the racing line. And in some leagues, they don't ghost. You can plough straight into the back of them. Race over. Regardless if they actually retire or completely and utterly destroy their front wing. I don't know why you would do it out of reflex either. It's just something I wouldn't dream of doing, as Donga and Lunacy gets 3 seconds. It is so dangerous. It is far better and more sportsmanlike to control your car. If you've made a mistake or you've been involved in somebody's mistake, you take control of your car and you recover the car and you bring it back onto the circuit safely under your control. The game is stupid and it puts your car on the racing line. Why you think you would do such a thing is just beyond me. Within the spirit of the sport, there is no switch on a Formula 1 car that allows you to reset the circuit. You have to do it yourself. Dear me. I'm glad I went back to look at that. Now, back to the race. It looks like Mr. Griffin is going to take a very straightforward victory here. Although it's not on circuit, I think he is fully aware of the situation that the driver in front and the driver behind is in. This is looking like a victory for Renault. It's looking like a victory for Mr. Griffin. The first one since the Canadian